welcome. Hello and welcome. This is the newsroom on TV360 Nigeria. The Nigerian army says its troops had successfully repelled attacks by Boko Haram insurgents at Gijiram community in Nagaza local government area of Borno State. The Deputy Director, Army Public Relations, Operation Lafia Donil, Colonel Onyema Nwachukwu, says the troops killed several insurgents and recovered weapons when the terrorists tried to infiltrate the community. Nwachukwu says that the troops also recovered one AK-47 rifle, 2 AK-47 magazines, 1 rocket-propelled grenade, 3 rocket-propelled grenade bombs, 4 bomb charges, and light machine gun belt links. The army spokesman added that the troops are on the pursuit of the terrorists who fled the scene of the encounter. The saga surrounding the trial of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onnoghen, continued on Thursday after a high court in Abuja has extended the restraining order against the continuation of the trial till January 28th. The judge, Justice N.E. Maha, gave the order after a counsel representing the respondents told the court on Thursday that his clients had not been served. Maha therefore ordered a fresh service of the court summons to the respondents and asked that the dates of service be included in the proof of service before the next hearing. He also noted that the order for parties to maintain status quo still stands. This means the scheduled continuation of the trial at the Code of Conduct Tribunal (CCT) must be suspended pending further directives.
There is no return certificate of service on all the defendants and respondents. And to ensure fair hearing and to ensure that nobody is shut out, we agreed to adjourn to 28th of January with the order from the court that all the parties must be served. So the return date is 28th January.
The motion on notice came up for hearing today, and unfortunately not all the parties to the action had been served. The Senate President had not yet been served. That meant the motion was not ripe for hearing. But that order interim, which was given, subsists until the hearing and determination of the motion on notice, which will come up on the 28th day of this month, that is January.
Meanwhile, the former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Olisa Abakoba, has dragged the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, to court. Abakoba is suing the Minister of Justice over moves to arraign the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Walter Onnoghen, over his alleged non-declaration of assets. In the suit he lodged before the Federal High Court in Abuja, Agbakoba, through his lawyer, Chief Mike Ozekome, maintained that the 6-count charge pending against the CJN at the Code of Conduct Tribunal, a CCT in Abuja, is illegal, unlawful, wrongful, unconstitutional, null and void. President Muhammadu Buhari has declined assent to 5 amendment bills passed by the National Assembly. The letter of decline was read at the Red Chambers on Thursday by the Deputy Senate President, Ike Ekweremadu, to his colleagues. Oyin Adekunle has the rest of the story.
The plenary begins with a 1-minute silence for late former President Shehu Shagari, who passed away last December. After the observation, senators take their seats to listen to an executive communication from President Muhammadu Buhari. Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu then informs his colleagues that Buhari has rejected 5 bills passed by the lawmakers.
Pursuant to Section 58(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, I hereby convey to the Senate my decision on 4 January 2018 to decline presidential assent to the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission Amendment Bill 2018, recently passed by the National Assembly. I am declining assent to the bill for the following reasons. A. The bill will interfere with and obstruct the smooth administration of revenue-generating agencies of the federal government. B. The bill will confer the powers of oversight of the revenue currently vested in the President and Minister of Finance to the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission and negate the existing provision of Section 51 of the Federal Inland Revenue Services. Pursuant to Section 58(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, I hereby convey to the Senate my decision on 4 January 2019 to decline presidential assent to the Bankruptcy and Insolvency Bill 2018, recently passed by the National Assembly. The relationship between the corporate insolvency provisions of the bill and existing provisions on winding up an insolvency under the Companies and Allied Matters Act need to be clarified to avoid confusion in respect of the applicable legislation governing corporate insolvency. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurance of my highest consideration.
After reading the president's letter, Lagos State Senator Oluremi Tinubu shocks the House when she announced that her office was robbed at the National Assembly complex.
On Wednesday, 9th January 2019, my staff, upon resumption, noticed some anomalies in the organization and setup of the office, prompting an inspection. Following closer inspection, it was discovered that one HP laptop computer, the CCTV camera box, one Smile internet device, and copies of the laws of the Federation had been carted away. Subsequently, a report was lodged at the police post of the National Assembly. The occurrence, I think, is not, it's something that really is worrisome. One, this is the time we are all going for election, and right now I don't feel safe in my office because when things like this happen and nothing tangible is being taken away, you begin to wonder. But I will crave the leadership of the Senate to look into the matter, and I pray that such things don't occur anymore. Thank you very much.
Ekwem Mado then surprises the House when he also reveals that the closed-circuit television CCTV installed in the National Assembly is not working.
But even more worrisome was the report I got during the break of one of our colleagues, a former colleague, who came to do a transaction in the National Assembly. And then he left his car with some money inside it. By the time he came back, the car was broken into and the money removed. And he parked it just close to one of the buildings. So he thought that it was easy to detect. So he reported to the management. They tried to look at the CCTV footage. Regrettably, the CCTV was not working. So, and I think it's an embarrassment to all of us that we'll be able to fix CCTV all over the place with public fund. And when matters arise for which it will come into use, and then we'll discover that we've just wasted our public money.
The Deputy Senate President then later refers the matter to the management to investigate the burglary and report through the Committee on Senate Services. Oyin Adekunle, TV360, Nigeria.
In the House of Representatives, the Speaker, Yakubu Dogara, has urged his colleagues to work very hard to ensure the prompt passage of the 2019 budget. Dogara says the forthcoming election should not distract representatives from discharging their constitutional responsibilities of addressing all the issues pending before the expiration of their tenure.
Still violate
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has told proponents of restructuring to approach the court. He said restructuring can be achievable if states in the Federation can stand up to the federal government and claim their rights before the courts of law, even without tampering with the Constitution of Nigeria. Osinbajo hinged his position on the success of Lagos State against the federal government during the administration of former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Governor Bola Tinubu, which gave the state the power to create its own community development authorities, establish state tax laws, and state urban development plan laws. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has released the names of candidates for the National Assembly election in Rivers State. However, the names of the candidates of All Progressives Congress were excluded from the list. Candidates of the People's Democratic Party, Social Democratic Party, and Labour Party, among others, made the list. This list comes a week after the High Court in the southern state ordered that the party cannot provide any candidate in the state in the upcoming elections. The resident electoral commissioner in Rivers, Obo Efang, insisted that the electoral umpire would always obey court judgment. Meanwhile, some presidential aspirants have been highlighting their plans to fight corruption in Nigeria. The candidates, including Omoyele Sowore, Kasim Afebwa, and Tope Faswa, were speaking at a presidential debate with the team of anti-corruption. Now, this next report has the rest of the story.
Another presidential debate in Abuja, but this time with the focus firmly on corruption and accountability. The war on corruption has been one of the main cardinal points of the present All Progressives Congress-led administration, though the opposition parties argue that the fight is one-sided. At this debate, presidential candidates of 5 contesting political parties, excluding the ruling All Progressives Congress, are being given a chance to explain how they will be doing things differently.
A lot of our assets that belong to individuals or the country is also publicly available. The land registry of Abuja, you cannot find it because the whole of Abuja is owned by a few people. That should be online. The asset declaration forms of our public officers should be something you can download without having to go through it, and without having to go through, the eye of the needle. But most importantly, let's also talk about enforcement. We have enforcement agencies for that are fighting corruption in this country. They don't have to be police. They don't have to. We can train people who can enforce our anti-corruption laws. How do we do it? Even sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, when money is moving around, there's paperwork and there's also paper trail.
So, as a government, once you are able to deal with the issue of monopoly of powers, which leads to abuse of your discretionary powers and taking away accountability, you will now have to ensure that there are special courts created, established to try corruption cases. And those special courts will be given the unfettered independence to be able to take action and conclusively deal with incidences of prosecution and abdication of corruption cases. That way, rather than spend 12 years pursuing one individual from 2005 before you get a conviction in 2019, there will be a time frame upon which those individuals who have been so identified or alleged of the corrupt will be prosecuted and judgment followed through.
That what we call corruption in this country, a lot of it is addiction, truly. It's an addiction now. Let's place it exactly where it is a psychosocial analysis of this problem. A lot of it is addiction, a lot of it is psychological problem. We want to be able to take people out and say, listen, go and test this man if he's okay. For 2 weeks in Yaba left. And then they come back straight in. Alright? Or rather, we take them out of the system. It is true. You see, because again now, but what we're going to also do is to lead by example. In our party constitution, inside our party constitution, it is there that any one of us who wins an election, and by God's grace, when I become the president of this country, May 19, 2019, we are going to, without compulsion, without being pushed, to declare our assets openly. Of course, this is something that can have salutary effect on the rest of the country. So, leadership by example is great.
It is now just a few weeks to the presidential election. The candidates here will be hoping that their submissions will help upset odds currently in the favor of the ruling All Progressives Congress and the opposition People's Democratic Party. Adeshawa Odushoga, TV360 Nigeria.
The International Organization for Migration, IOM, continues to step up its effort to support returning migrants with its assisted voluntary return and reintegration program. Now, this involves taking selected returnees through business trainings before supporting them with funds to establish their businesses. Yusuf Sakiru Owolabi is one of the beneficiaries of the program. With the help of the IOM, he is now running a successful carpentry business and earning a living from it. Onyi Adekunle tells us more.
After quitting his education at the secondary school level, Yusuf Shakiru Owolabi ventured into carpentry business as a means of survival. But the success he enjoys now did not come without a series of events.
I want to go and do my furniture at Europe. I know that when I get there, they are paying me more money for my salary. I'll be more better than, and I want to go and learn more experience. So in 2017, I left the shop. 2017, I went to Libya because my friend passed through there. He succeeded. I entered motor from my 2. After my 2, Abuja, from Abuja to Kano, from Kano to Agadez. From Agadez to Zinden, from Zinden to Gatron. After Gatron, moved to Sabah. So after then, I went to the seaside. On my way going there, they now arrest me on the sea, back to the Libya territory. I spent 1 month and a week in the prison. Before I come outside, IOM now bring me back to Nigeria.
On his return to Nigeria, he thought all was lost until he received a call from International Organization for Migration, and his life has not been the same ever since. As a continued remembrance of his transformation, he has chosen to acknowledge his benefactors, the IOM, by including the name of the agency on his signpost.
IOM called me at Airport Hotel for business training. Then I go for the business training. After the training, IOM give me some money. They told me that they will give me something later. I should not worry, I should calm down. So later in the day, IOM give me some money to establish my business.
Owolabi also talks about the special strategy with which he tries to retain and gain customers.
Because I used to reduce my price for the custom from the others. I used to do turn up. So if the rest are selling like 100,000, I can sell 95.
He explains what he regrets the most about his journey and advised young Nigerians to desist from embarking on the road trip to Europe.
I'm regretting why I moved or I lost my money for the journey. Anybody that wants to go to Europe, go in genuine way. Go and make your paper, go to the embassy. You don't go by Libya route again. Libya is not a country for a human being to stay.
Having learnt his lessons, all Owolabi is concerned about for now is the expansion of his business, as well as how he can get more machines to help him take his vocation to the desired level. Onyi Adekunle, TV360 Nigeria.
We'll take a short break right here and return in a minute. Please stay with us.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
Wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. you and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app. If you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
You're welcome back. And for business, we have standing by Fidelia Aguncha. Hello, Fidelia.
Hi, Aneta.
So what's the latest in business today?
Well, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, says the transmission of the new minimum wage bill to the National Assembly is still a work in progress. Ngige told reporters in Abuja that the work on the bill will be completed on January 22nd, which is a day before the government deadline of January 23rd for transmission.
It's a work in progress. As the Information Minister told you the other day after the Federal Executive Council, we are taking our deliberations to National Economic Council, and then we close up on 22nd at the National Council of State. After that, we'll be able to say what we're doing. Figure, frequency of review, those that have exemptions, and everything about the bill, so that people will know.
Oil prices dipped on Thursday as U.S. crude production approached an unprecedented 12 million barrels per day, just as worries about weakening demand emerged. U.S. crude futures were at $52 a barrel, while Brent crude were down by 34 cents at $60.98 a barrel. The soaring euro supply comes amidst concern over stuttering demand growth due to a global economic slowdown, which some analysts believe will turn into a recession. To stem a lurking petroleum glut, the Middle East-dominated OPEC and non-OPEC producer Russia are leading efforts to cut supply. This has prevented crude prices from falling much lower despite softening demand and a surge in U.S. output. Well, let's now look at activities on the stock market. Don't go away. Well, it was another bullish session at the Nigeria Stock Exchange as the market made over 3 billion naira in the sales of more than 230 million shares transacted in 3,207 deals. In the past 5 days, the market has appreciated by 3.12%, which is equivalent to a rise of 592 points in the all-share index and 280 billion naira in the market capitalization. But despite these gains, some equities still closed in the negative territory. Let's see them right here. And NASCON Allied PLC leads the pack of losers, recording a 6-kobo drop in its share price, which is the same amount it gained yesterday when it closed fourth on the gainers chart. On the second and fourth position is Stanbic IBTC and Zenith Bank from the banking and financial service industry. Stanbic is once again having a busy year, just as it did last year, where it emerged the most traded equity for trading at the stock exchange in 2018. Well, let's now look at our pack of gainers. So we can see that the chart is led by Mobile, recording its first gain in 6 days. And this is after maintaining its share price at 184 naira in the past week. The rise in this American oil company can be largely attributed to the surge in U.S. crude production, which has hit an unprecedented high of 12 million barrels per day. Meanwhile, Dangote Cement is recording growth for the third straight day this week, selling over 1 million shares to edge up by 2 naira. Well, let's move now to the global scale, that is the stock market on a global level, and we can see that the Dow is falling after Morgan Stanley's latest quarterly result disappointed investors as Wall Street also grapples with uncertainty around the Chinese economy. And talking about grappling the economy in Asia, Japan's Nikkei reversed earlier gains as investors remained wary amid a fluctuating global economy and trade war tensions, that is between China and the U.S. The FTSE is not left out in the declines, and the London Stock Exchange is falling for the second day as uncertainty cloud hopes of a benefiting Brexit deal for the UK. Well, that's it on the business scene. It's back to Annetta.
Thank you so much for that, Fidelia. And yes, indeed, when you look at UK politics and how it's affecting, of course, the stock market, we saw actually that the Brexit deal was actually a no, and that actually affected the stock market negatively. But when you think that maybe because May had survived the vote of no confidence, thinking maybe that would boost the stock market, turns out that that's an irony. The stock market still is crashing in the UK.
Yeah, it still is crashing because she's still yet to come up with another plan, because if they do not come up with a good plan, they are just very likely to leave the EU without any benefit at all. And this is something that most businesses in the UK dread so much, because it will mean that businesses will have to crash, they'd have to relocate and other stuff like that. So it is not going to rise until there is substantial progress in the Brexit deal.
Indeed, and while we're waiting for all that politics to sort out, we do hope that in other parts of the world, like the Nikkei in Japan, and of course the Dow Jones in America and Nigeria's NSE, that they continue to rise, hopefully. So we'll take a break now and we'll return shortly. Do stay with us.
Corruption not in my country.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
My name is Alero. I am not sick. I just need you to help put your stamp on this medical report. I want to tender it at my office as a sick leave. I'll pay 10,000 naira.
Ma'am, that is impersonation. I'm not a doctor.
Oga, be like say this English no go pay. I go increase the money to 20,000 naira. I beg. If I give you that 20,000, as you wide so, if it still help your condition more. So, you know, say you spread well.
As I spread like virus, I'll be.
You talk.
Come out! If first you come to the hospital, talk to make you give a fake medical report, make you go take collect sick leave. Talk and say, no, not corruption. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
19 people who went missing 2 days after a militant attack on a Nairobi hotel and office complex that killed 21 people are now accounted for. Al-Shabaab, a Somalia-based Al-Qaeda affiliate fighting to impose strict Islamic law, said it carried out the attack in protest of U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Kenya, the East African hub for multinational companies, and the United Nations became a frequent target for Al-Shabaab after Kenya sent troops into neighboring Somalia in 2011 to try to create a buffer zone along its border. Gunmen on motorbikes have killed more than 30 Tuareg civilians this week in northern Mali, where clashes over land and scarce water are common. The violence compounds an already dire security situation in the desert region used by jihadist groups to launch attacks in Mali and across West Africa. The identity of the assailant was unknown, but disputes between the nomadic Tuareg and Hedda Fulani ethnic groups have killed several hundreds and displaced thousands over the last year. Serena Williams was close to her supreme best in the Australian Open second round on Thursday, demolishing Eugenie Bouchard 6-2, 6-2. The American dominated Bouchard's serve throughout, with only her hiccups coming on her own misfiring serve, particularly in a fascinating first set in which Bouchard broke Serena's serve twice but failed to hold her own. Williams will face Diana Yastremska in the third round. Chelsea have reached an agreement with Juventus over the January transfer of Gonzalo Higuain, with the Australians with the Argentines loan deal with AC Milan set to be cut short. The deal will see the Blues handed an option to buy the striker outright for 32.5 £5.5 million upon the completion of a 6-month loan, with a series of performance-related bonuses being paid to Juventus on the basis of goals scored and appearances. Iguane and Chelsea boss Maurizio Sarri have been pushing for a reunion since the Italian took the reins at Stamford Bridge, and it now appears that the pair will finally get their wish after talks between the Premier League side and the Serie A champions. And thanks for watching News Now on TV360 Nigeria. You can watch other interesting programs across all our social media platforms and on our YouTube page. Do also log on to our website. It's www.tv360nigeria.com. I am Annetta Felix. Bye for now.